Jesus is serving people. He's not just serving a cause. What do I mean by that? This is the book of Luke. It's not Mark or Matthew, where Jesus, in this part, in this part of the discussion about who's greatest, Jesus said in Mark and Matthew, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So putting those two things together, it was as if Jesus was saying, I'm going to give my life as a ransom for many. That is the cause that I'm living for. And this is how I serve the people. This is how I serve. I give my life for a greater cause. That's Mark and Matthew, but that is not Luke. Luke puts it in a more concise, if I can say a more precise manner. All Jesus said was this, I am among you as one who waits on tables. And he did that in the earlier part of the Passover. He did that when he took his place and still served them. He did that for all his life, showing that he is not greater than anybody. He would willingly serve them at the lowest. Let the children come to me, Jesus says. For the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. Where the disciples would say, no, they're not fitting for the kingdom of God. Jesus doesn't have time for them. Jesus served the people, not just a cause. Some of us, I've heard people say this before, and it kind of troubles me at this stage, where it says, I serve God, therefore I lead people. I serve the cause of Jesus Christ, as if the cause of Jesus Christ was something apart from people. When we serve the cause of Jesus Christ, we serve people. There is no serving the cause of Jesus Christ without serving people. They come together. They come hand in hand. That's who we are as servant leaders in the kingdom of God. When was the last time you opened a foldable table instead of opening this worship service in prayer? Or instead of spending time on writing and perfecting that sermon of yours on Sundays, you spend time writing a card saying, thank you, so-and-so, for being who you are. When was the last time that instead of pushing our agendas in the pastoral team meeting, we were found pushing wheelchairs on the musky church aisle or in the hot car park? When was the last time we did those things? Maybe at some point in time we did that in the beginning, but have we lost it? Maybe we started serving the kingdom, and at some point in time we became leaders and we lost what it means to be serving. 3 years ago, exactly 3 years ago, in this time of the year, I was in India on a mission trip in South India. And one of the Sundays, we went to a village about an hour away from the city. And the service on that Sunday in that place starts about 8 o'clock in the morning. And because we were ministering, so people were coming up to us for prayer. And there's this blind Indian brother who came up, and then he started asking for prayers for me, to pray for him. And I did. And I asked him, what is your story, brother? How do you find your way to church since you're blind? And he says this, he says, every morning, the pastor of the church would drive to my slum about an hour away, pick me up from my slum, and bring me to this village so I can attend church. Now the service starts at 8. I can't imagine what time the pastor would have to wake up in the morning just to drive this brother to church every single Sunday morning. But he did. And that's why this brother is here. That's why this blind Indian brother can attend church, can love and serve God with the people of God, because there was a servant leader in their midst, loving and serving the people of God. Robert K. Greenleaf, who wrote about servant leadership, and he was the first person back in the 1970s who came up with this term, servant leadership. He wrote in his book, and he says this, the servant leader is servant first. It begins with natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. The difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servant first to make sure that other people's highest priorities are being served. The best test and difficult to administer is this: do those served grow as persons? Do they, while being served, become healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous, and more likely to become servants themselves? And what is the effect on the least privileged in society? Will they benefit or at least not be further deprived? So I want to raise this question to all of us today, who are pastors, who are ministers, who are in transition to look to be a leader in some form or shape in the kingdom of God. And I want to ask you, will you be a servant leader? And the best test of being a servant leader is perhaps this, in Greenleaf's words, if I may paraphrase: do those you serve grow as persons? Do they, while being served by you, become healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous, and more likely themselves to become servants? What is the effect of your servant leadership on the least privileged and the marginal in your church, in your community, in your organization? Will they benefit by your servant leadership, or at least not be further deprived?